So I told y'all I'd be trying to come back at least every week, have something for you guys. This week felt like this is an appropriate backdrop, just in general. I was watching a video not long ago. It taught me a lot about, making sure videos are one take, making sure your public speaking is on par. You're not saying the usual okay, like things in general. So that's what a lot of this is as well. The biggest thing I've been watching recently was a video that came up that was talking about no matter what you believe in, being single or loneliness and isolation, regardless from things in the world going on. Sometimes we have a lot going on in our lives. A lot of the time, it's things that we can't really explain or we don't know why. And I think a lot that we try to boo hoo it and try to, make things a little bit better. And sometimes us trying to control that really starts to show that we can't control anything. And then we end up kind of making a muck or a mess of everything we're doing. The biggest thing that we try to do is control every little piece. So when one little piece is off, our routine or what have you is just not normal. So we try to change things, and that's the biggest issue because no matter what, you basically have a higher power or something that is truthfully guiding a lot of the things you do. We talk about feeling a gut feeling, going against a grain. Those things have all come up because of the fact that when you do go against the grain, it is rough. Things do get hard. And not hard as in I'm about to succeed hard, but just in hard in general because you're not doing the thing that you're meant to really do. And a lot of it comes from the idea that we think, well, if we can't control our job or we can't control where we get our money or our friends or anybody, we think we can control relationships and maybe just people in general in your life. And that's really just not feasible. Every person has their own way of thinking, every person has their own destiny, every person has their own route through life that they take. Not everybody's destiny is to be a part of your destiny. And I think that that's important. We kind of overlook that. We more or less think that if we make a mistake or we don't do things a certain way, we can still control the narrative and those people will always be around. And I'm here to tell you that that's just not true. You can't control the way people think. When I was watching that video about, talking about sometimes, God or what have you puts you in a season of isolation, singleness, or loneliness, it's for good reason. A lot of the time we sit here and we message so many people a day in our phones. We look at social media, we are around so many people, and we don't even realize that while we're doing that, you're not really learning to take care of yourself. You kind of rely on everybody else to take care of you, and you kind of start to lose yourself. It's very important to understand that you can love somebody wholeheartedly with every bit of yourself. And it doesn't mean that you're not going to be with them. It doesn't mean that you don't truly love them. It doesn't mean that you don't need them. It doesn't mean that they don't help you through life. But while they help you, you also have to be able to help yourself because there are situations in life that that person just can't be there. Yes, the thought of them can be there. Their soul might be connected to your soul and you can feel when things are wrong, but that doesn't mean they're there and you still need to take care of yourself. We overlook that. We think that, well, I need this person. They do this for me. They do this for me. Yeah, they do. And they do make a difference. But at the end of the day, you still have to make your own difference. You still have to fix things for yourself. And we overlook that so much. And we just kind of get lost in ourselves and lost in everything that's going on. The biggest thing to remember is that that season of isolation is meant to be hard. It's meant to be tough. It may last a week, a couple months, a year, could last years. With my career field, I go to different people's houses sometimes, on a little side hustle. And I see people who are alone most of their life. Maybe they lost their husband or wife 20 years ago, or they choose to be where they're at, or that's just their life journey. At this life, they were meant to be alone most of their life. And it's okay to be sad about it. It's okay to look at that like, wow, that's it's wild to think about, that you could live that many years on your own just by yourself. And sometimes some people thrive in that and sometimes some people don't. The biggest issue that we have to understand is in the grand scheme of life, life is so short. You think about it, if you're married to somebody and you stay with them for 30 years, you may have been not even 30 by the time you got together, which means you lived a whole another lifetime with that person. That's amazing. The feeling of that has got to be amazing for anybody that, gets to enjoy that. I think that that's awesome, and I commend people who can have that and do that. I sometimes look up to those kind of people, and sometimes you could be a little jealous, like, damn, I wish I had, that type of longevity in things. And you have to understand that when you're looking at that, you have to understand that life is so short. If you believe in a higher power and you believe that you're going to go somewhere else or what have you, the biggest thing to remember is we're such a small, finite time, and you can either live it good or you can live it bad. And a lot of this isolation and a lot of this loneliness, or if you're single or whatever, comes from the idea that you may not be living right, that you might be living bad. You might be responding to people you shouldn't be, doing activities you shouldn't be, not being 100% into what you should be doing. And I think that that's a big issue that we overlook. We say to ourselves, well, we're going to change this, and I want to be this, and I want to be that. And you don't even realize that when the season for you to be in isolation is being given to you because you need that to grow, you keep trying to message other, let's say women, in my opinion, right? And, for me being a male, message other women all the time, or message new women, or message old women, or when they come back into your life sometimes through social media or your weakness, and you let them come in and you respond back to them, it brings a little bit of yourself back down. When you're trying to be elevated and make it out and make things of yourself, you start to come back down because you just feed into very small behaviors that just turn into an entire, basically, opinion of yourself through yourself, or really that's what you are. And whether you are in a season of isolation due to a mistake or just due to that's the track that you're on right now, it's okay to be frustrated. It's okay to not understand why, but understand that there is something that's going to come out of that. And it should be good for you if you live it the right way and you live during that season. Think about it as they always call winter bulking season, and in the summertime or springtime, you come out and you're cut up and ripped up and you feel good about yourself or what have you. If you did good, you good. Sometimes you come out of that winter bulking season and you still bulked up. You didn't do nothing to fix yourself. Well, you didn't do it right. You have to think of the isolation season in your life the same way. Think of that exactly the same way, that if you live it badly and you keep making the same mistakes, those people around you are going to think that you are what mistakes you're making, that you are defined by that. Some people in your life are going to define you by your mistakes and are going to define you by your wrongs, and we can address that at another time on another time together. But right now you have to understand that if you keep doing the things that you shouldn't be doing, you're never going to learn the lesson that you're supposed to. And it's very easy because sometimes we hit around 6 months or a year, and you don't know what's going on. You wish that you had somebody, or you wish you had better friends, or you wish you had better support system, and you may not have any of it. You honestly might be by yourself, but you have to understand that there's a reason for that. The reward or the lesson or what you're going to get out of that will be far greater than your mind can comprehend during that season of isolation and loneliness. We lose track of that so much, and we think that everything should be given to us and handed to us, and if we control these little things, we'll get it. And if you skip those steps, that season that you're in is never going to become what you need it to be. It just won't. You're just going to keep repeating it and repeating it and drag it out and drag it out. It's the same concept as, if you cheat on something, or let's just say you're carrying a heavy bag somewhere and you got to go a couple miles, but every time you put it down, it makes it a little bit longer, and you just keep putting it down. Well, I carry it for a little bit. Oh, I gotta put it down. I gotta put it down. I gotta put it down, and you just keep making it longer and longer, and the finish line gets farther away because you're not just getting through it. When that finish line may be 20 feet, but every foot you're dropping it, you just drag it and drag it. And that's something that you have to understand. It's so hard to make a decision to change who you are, your behaviors, whatever they are. And you have to understand that when you do change it, you're going to feel like you're fulfilled. You're going to feel better. Very little. You might get a little sprinkle of understanding what's going on, or a little sprinkle of relief, or a little sprinkle of feeling accomplished in yourself. And you will get there. It just takes time. And that's something that every one of you need to understand, that time is so minuscule. You might mess up in something and somebody might define you as that. And I always say that you might mess up and have a small amount of time with somebody, not realizing that if you don't mess up anymore, you do better, you could enjoy the rest of your life. You're talking about another, I'm 35. We'll talk about another 35 years, man. I'll be 70. I've lived another lifetime from not making a mistake. And it may be if you had kids, it may be with your significant other, it could just be with yourself. Maybe you're tearing yourself down by bad habits and bad behaviors. And you have to go into an isolative season because it takes you away from what you can get when you have those habitual behaviors or things that are going on that you could access to basically bring negative things to your life or bring yourself down. And that's all right. And I think we can get through that if you just understand that the fight you have within you is so strong. Every single thing you can do can get you through that. And, we will bring up examples in the future of things. And as this keeps going, I'm going to try and open up about other things and really try to expand thought process and results that we're all looking for, and keep trying to do better for y'all. And I just appreciate y'all in general, even showing up, tuning in, subscribing, whatever you want to call it. I don't care either way, but I do appreciate every single one of y'all who do watch it, because this does help me as much as I hope that someday maybe somebody, it might help them as well. So I appreciate y'all. Every day, work hard.